It is finally here. It seemed like we were waiting forever. Not Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you that it applies to at least. The Eastern Conference Final, get you ready. It's about an hour away from tip. Casey Stern, G-A-R-O-G, Sam Mitchell.
Thank you.
And happy Mother's Day, of course.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to my mom in Columbus, Georgia, Betty Mitchell. All that I am today, large part of it due to my mom.
Yeah, my mother's since passed, but definitely a special part of my life, obviously, and very missed.
Yeah, exciting, I think, for all of us to get a chance on a special day for a number of reasons to get some big-time basketball. Yeah. We're going to get there. Let's look at how we got here for those of you who maybe didn't realize. Cover your eyes in Toronto. Sam, up there, are they okay yet?
Nah, they're still having LeBron James withdrawals.
The Cavs broke out the brooms against Toronto. Meanwhile, Jason Tatum and the Young C's able to knock off the even younger Philadelphia team. Simmons and Embiid go home.
Still waiting on the process in Philly.
We get ready here.
Still processing.
For all the action coming up in Boston. And with that, we welcome a man who needs only 2 letters and adding only on the end of everything that he says. Our own Dennis Scott. 3D, what's going on up there in B-Town, buddy? How are you, man?
Players only, baby.
Now, let me ask you, before we get started, how many items of clothing that you're wearing have the 3D logo on it?
Of course, the jacket does, the shirt. I'm working on some socks and other things. It's playoff time, baby. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. Everyone's excited. And, of course, I'm here on the court. You see the players warming up in the background. Everyone's excited. No one thought, I won't say no one, but a lot of people didn't think the Celtics would get here after losing Gordon Hayward opening night and, of course, getting the word of not having Kyrie Irving, but they're here.
DZ, if you can, start us on this. Tell me why there should be more belief outside of Boston than there is that the Celtics can win this series.
Well, if you're paying close attention, it's all about Brad Stevens and the way he preaches the right message. And also Danny Ainge drafting the right guys. So this team may be young, but when you look at Brown and Tatum, they have bought into the process. They work hard every day, and they understand they share the basketball. So that was the biggest thing I learned from yesterday's practice, where everybody understands, play together, and believe in one another, and maybe the rest of the world will start believing as well.
DZ, you talked about the fact that so many doubted whether or not this young upstart team could get to the Eastern Conference Finals, missing those 2 stars. But from a game plan standpoint, what are you sensing their approach is going to be able to deal with LeBron James, and obviously how well that supporting cast has played in that second round?
Well, Brad Stevens said specifically, we're going to try to throw different bodies at LeBron James, and understanding when we double, we have to rotate correctly. And Sam, you know this as a coach. If you're not on the same page and everyone's down on the same string when you do double team, Brad Stevens made it also very clear, LeBron James will find a teammate for a 3-point shot. They don't want that to happen.
3D, my question in talking to Brad, and I know he's not going to give a distinct answer because he's kind of giving away his game plan, but do you think you're going to see the traps come with LeBron James facing the basket, facing defense, or do you think Brad Stevens is going to try to bait LeBron and put him on the block and then try to come at him and then cut off his passing angles and dictate where he wants the ball to go, where he wants LeBron to make those passes?
Well, Sam, you hit it right on the head. I asked Brad Stevens that same question, and he said he's going to mix it up some. He doesn't want to give LeBron the same steady diet over and over because we know how smart LeBron is. He will eventually start picking them apart. So he has to be really smart on when you double and how you double. And don't be surprised if you see them pick LeBron James up at half court or maybe 3/4 court to try to wear him down some.
DZ, we know, look, you could try and contain LeBron. No one's going to stop him no matter how great the coaching is from Brad Stevens. So let me ask you this. Can the Cavs win this series if Kevin Love is not a big part of why they win the series?
They can, but, Casey, that means the J.R. Smiths of the world are shooting the ball very well if Kevin Love is not producing on the offensive end. But also, too, when Kevin Love doesn't shoot the ball well, he still rebounds. So I think that's the key for him to make sure he brings something to the table if the Cavs want to win this series.
DZ, we saw Terry Rozier kind of burst on the scene with how well he played, particularly in that series against Philadelphia. The expectations now have grown. Do we expect to see him continue the high level of play he displayed in those conference semis?
GA, it's amazing how when opportunity knocks on your door, if you're ready for it. And I think this young man is ready for the situation. He understands that It's now. It's not next year. It's now. And I think Brad Stevens has instilled so much confidence in him, guys. That's why he's playing such good basketball.
3D, I want to switch. Look, we all know what a great job Brad Stevens had done during the regular season and the playoffs. But let's talk about Ty Lue. Look, Ty Lue was getting a lot of pressure with this team. Nobody thought this team could get back to the conference final. Let's talk about the job Ty Lue has done getting this team and sweeping the best team in the Eastern Conference. Let's talk about the job he's done with this Cleveland team. And he's kind of resurrected Kevin Love, because in Game 1 against Toronto, Kevin Love didn't have his best game at all.
When you look at the beginning of the year with Isaiah Thomas, then the trade, the Derrick Rose, all the different faces Ty Lue had throughout the season, and then you bring in the young guys, and he's trying to figure out, how do I integrate this team with all these young people? And then to start the playoffs, he went with all the veteran guys and bringing the new guys in slow. So to your point, Sam, I think Ty Lue's done a heck of a job getting these guys to this point. And now LeBron James, once we say it again, in his year 15, playing at a super high level.
DZ, we talk about, the benches, and maybe with Toronto we talked about too much during the regular season. How about depth on that side, either for either team? Who needs to step up? We've seen, obviously, Rodney Hood at one point didn't want to come into the game. Clarkson hasn't done much. You got Nance. How about on the other side? You look at, obviously, Morris, who's tough, and you think about some of the others that might come in for Boston.
Well, Boston, the first name comes to mind is Marcus Smart. I think he has to have a huge series coming off the bench starting, whatever Brad Stevens decides to do with him. But his junkyard dog mentality is going to be huge for the Celtics. They think they want to win. And on the flip side, you hear around the head with Rodney Hood. He has to make some shots. So when they do double team, or when the ball does move for the Cavs, someone on the weak side of the floor has to be ready to knock down some shots.
I mean, that's a great point, DZ. Could you give me, in your estimation, I know how much you follow both these teams and have dissected this series, what do you think has to happen for Boston to win the series, and what do you think's got to happen for Cleveland to win the series? If you could put one thing that you would point to and say, you know what, this has to happen.
The Celtics have to take care of the basketball. We saw in the last series against the Sixers, when they didn't take care of the ball, they got down by 20, 22 points in a few ball games. You cannot do that against the Cavs, because otherwise you'll get blown all the way out and lose your confidence. On the flip side of that, the Cavs have to rebound the basketball. Kevin Love, we talked about. Tristan Thompson has stepped up and rebounded the ball better. If they can rebound the ball, I think they can win the series.
3D, the argument we've had in the back is, when you're playing LeBron James, do you play him and let him get his because he's almost unguardable, or do you trap and try to limit him? So my question to you is, what do you think the Celtics' game plan is? Are they going to try to look? LeBron James goes off and gets his 35, but you look at the stats. He's averaging 35 points a game. The next guy's at 14. So what do you think Brad Stevens thinking? Do I let LeBron go for his 40, or do I try to contain LeBron and slow him down and then try to contain the rest of these Cavaliers?
Well, Sam, I think you have to really mix it up. Because one thing about LeBron James, his 40 or his 45, they demoralize you. It just takes the life out of you. And then when you start double teaming, it's too late, and then they start knocking down threes. Now the whole team is coming downhill on you. So I think Brad Stevens is really going to pick his poison and really pick spots where, hey, let's trap him some plays, let's see if he's making his jump shot and play off of him. You really have to mix it up with LeBron right now, because he's playing at a super high level.
DZ